Hello everyone, and welcome to our 13th SMLT Artist Podcast. And today our guest is Hugo Costa. I'm very glad that you are here today. And if you want to find out more about his work, we will leave his socials here. And we hope you follow him and enjoy our interview. So without further ado, I think I'm just going to jump right into the questions. And the first question is a question that I probably ask every artist that comes here is, why did you decide to be an artist? How did it happen?
Okay, thank you for inviting me. I'm enjoying a lot this country and people are really nice. So the question, why did you decide to be an artist?
Yeah.
No, I don't consider myself an artist. When people ask me, I say no, I'm just a sketcher that copies in the street. Anyway, for instance, when I had to in my Instagram account, you have to put something under your name.
Mm-hmm.
And artist was the thing that looked more similar to what I am, not celebrity or sportsman or something like that. Yeah, artist was the closest thing. Yeah, but also I remember I always sketch like an architect. I have a friend that is she's a really good artist, and one day she told me, now you are sketching like an artist. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't sketch like an architect anymore. You sketch like an artist. So maybe I'm getting closer to be an artist.
I think it's like unfair of you to not consider yourself an artist.
I always thought it's kind of pretentious to be. I don't know. I think if you are really an artist, people will call you an artist, and you should not call yourself an artist before. You know.
Actually, that's a really good thought, because sometimes I see people that do very superficial works and they start calling themselves artists, and I always think like, well, I don't know about that, but it's great that we think alike on this one.
And it's also true. I never wanted to be an artist, you know. I never thought about it. Not that I didn't want it, just wanted to be an architect when I was studying, and things just happened. That's it.
But architecture, you can't really differ that from art. I mean, architecture is art.
It's an art also, yeah. But yeah, you are an architect, not an artist. Yeah.
Okay. I think the next question would be about your favorite mediums. What techniques and mediums do you usually perform your sketches in?
Okay, I have it here.
Okay.
So in my pocket.
Is it an ink pen?
Yeah, this is ink, waterproof ink. Mm-hmm. I used to use like a really simple, cheap uniball pen that worked every time, was waterproof. It was perfect. It was my go-to pen. But then I was invited to a workshop, and the brand gave me this. And the thing is, I used it before, but the ink was not waterproof, so I stopped using it because of that. Because I like to sometimes use watercolor on my sketches, and then I found out that we could fill it with waterproof ink, and then I started using it. Now I love it. The main difference between like this cheap regular pen and this one is the pleasure that it gives you when you sketch. I used to compare like driving a regular car and a good car. That is this special feeling
softness,
that you have. The softness, the smooth, the handling. It's the kind of line is different when you turn it. You know. It allows you a wider range of lines. Yeah. Of course, that you can change the ink and you can use your own ink. Usually, I mix the blue and the gray to have my own ink color it's only mine. So it allows me. So this is the one I prefer. And then, in order to give more values and depth to some of the sketches, I use either watercolor either a smaller range of values that go from gray to black.
Why watercolor? Is it easier to work with, or do you like the dynamic that it gives?
Hard. It's
yeah,
so hard.
watercolors.
It's so hard. I've already told you I'm an architect. So at the architectural school, we were told that color was not for architects. Color is for artists.
And you decided to break those rules.
No, and I said okay. And we all imitate a huge named Portuguese architect, it's Álvaro Siza, and we all sketch with a big pen in blue or black, and we didn't use color mainly because we didn't know how to. Our teachers didn't taught us how to do it.
Yeah.
But then how many, like 10, 15 years after, I was living in Italy, and I thought, so I have to use color here. It's a crime being in Italy and not using color. So I used to meet with the Rome urban sketchers there, and they were really good on color. Not on drawing, but the color was really nice, so I started copying them and try to understand what they did. The first watercolors was really bad, really bad. Then I started getting it, and there was one drawing that I realized I was kind of getting it. But yeah, I still struggle with color. I don't struggle with line, I don't struggle with line work, but I still struggle with color.
Well, there's plenty of time to learn. My next question would be is how did you get into urban sketching? Because as you can see, there's a bunch of city views that you drew. So why this? Why urban sketching?
I will go back maybe to architectural school. That was really a turning point for me, where I really started sketching. I did urban sketching there because our teachers asked us to sketch out on the street, so we already did urban sketching, but we didn't know it was called urban sketching. And then, when was it? In 2010, something like that, I saw some drawings. Someone sent me, do you know this urban sketch blog? And I saw some drawings of a French called Lapin. And I thought I have to do this. I kind of did it, but not like the regular, every day or every week or going to a trip and doing a bunch of. But yeah, I got mesmerized with his work, and I thought it was kind of a motivation to go stronger and go harder and go deeper on urban sketching.
Okay, so basically architecture and a lot of other artists inspired you. Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm actually very interested about your creative process. How do you exactly create your drawings and paintings? Where do you start? What do you do?
That is a tricky question, and at the same time I think it's very easy. I just go on the street and sketch, you know. It's not as simple as that, because every time I go on the street I'm looking for places where I can go. So, and according to the hour, the time, my schedule, so if I go from one point to the other and I have 1 hour, so I have like spare time, so I stop in the middle and in this place where I can park my car and don't lose too much time and sketch directly from. So I know that on Fridays I can do the sketch from this point on, because if you want to sketch every day, I cannot afford losing time on looking for spots. So I'm always looking with my eyes, and I kind of record the spots where I can go according to the light, to the season. And then I adapt myself to these schedules, and then I sit on the street and sketch. I never hear music. I don't because I like to listen to the sounds. I like to talk with people. That's also part of the process. I try even to capture that, not only the movement but the sounds. Sometimes I open my sketchbook and I can remember the sounds. Maybe people that see the drawings cannot hear the sounds, but I do, you know. So that's the process. And the thing is, I start to do bigger and bigger sketches. So sometimes what I do is I start to sketch one day and then I go on another day and I follow the drawing, but always on site. And I also have a folder at my place that is called Unfinished Sketches. So, for instance, every time I go to New York, I get that folder and I take the sketches I didn't finish like 1 year before or something like that. So that's my process. It's not very organized, but that's my process.
I mean, I think it's quite organized. I mean, there's like a step-by-step thing that you do. You know, you go out, you look for the place, and you sketch.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think what I found interesting is that you don't listen to any music. Because usually people, when they work on art, they usually listen to some sort of music, you know, for inspiration or. But yeah, it's. I think it's one of the first times that I hear that an artist, or I'm sorry, not an artist.
When I'm working on illustrations that are not urban sketching, I only know to work listening to music. I love music. But for me, urban sketching is important and interaction with people is so important. That's why usually I write all the comments that people tell me. So that's nice. Now I recall last week I used my headphones because there was someone in front of me that was hearing like this music that I can't stand, like reggaeton music, you know. So I could not stand that music when I put my headphones. I think it was the only moment.
Okay, well, that's lovely and lovely process. Okay, so I wanted to ask, are you working on anything at the moment? Like, do you have a big project or
yes,
what exactly are you doing right now?
Several big projects. Like I can start by the illustration projects. So I'm working in 2 movies right now. The first one is for the African Environment Film Foundation. That is based on Kenya. And so the board is in New York, but they are based in Kenya. And I'm working on a documentary. So I'm illustrating some scenes that are not recorded because they are telling the story of the Tsavo Park in Kenya, the history of that park, and they want to tell some scenes. They want to transmit or to tell some stories of the 17th and 18th century. So of course they don't have images of that. So I'm illustrating those scenes so they can display it on the big screen, and so people can visualize what they want to transmit. And then that is a really exciting project. And then I'm working with another director that is Jeremiah Zagar. He's now really, everybody's talking about him right now because his movie is on Netflix. His brand new movie. It's the first one on Netflix right now. It's called The Hustle. But yeah, I'm working with him in a new project, and I'm doing the storyboards of that project. So I worked also with him 5 years ago. I did the storyboard.
I think I read this one in your online page.
The first one was for a movie called We the Animals, and this one is a secret that I cannot tell. So
you cannot tell us.
And academically, I'm doing also a research. At university, we do a lot of research, but the one that I'm more fond of is a research I'm doing about an American architect that was born in Estonia, in fact. So, and this architect in 29 and 51, 52, he did the grand tour in Europe, and Italy, and he jumped to Egypt and Greece, so he did like 300 sketches. So I'm following his sketches around all those countries for several years. So what I do is I research where he was, and I go there and I do the same sketches he did in order to understand their sketches and his architecture. That's why the Amalfi one was he did also that sketch in 1929.
How do you get invited to such big projects, you know, like movies, documentaries? How exactly does one artist reach that?
So the storyboard is a funny story. I just wanted to go to the bathroom. So I was teaching in New York, and I was teaching at Parsons, and on the second day they have several buildings around New York, so I just got into a building and I saw to go to the bathroom, and I saw an ad that said looking for illustrators for a feature movie, and I thought, oh, this is one thing that I would never do in Valencia, so I will be here for 5 months, so I will apply. And I was almost sure that nobody would answer me back, but I sent them an email. I got an answer 2 days after. And the guy, and I just sent them my Instagram and wrote a little sentence saying I love movies and I love illustration. So I met Jeremiah Zagar, the director, 2 days after, and we talked for 5 minutes, and they told me, I like you. I will treat you at my place, and invite me to have dinner with him. I remember arriving there, and he had the script on his table. And he said, sit and start sketching. And he started reading the script. And he said, aren't you sketching? And okay, sorry. And I started sketching, and he was reading the script, and it was how I started. And now we became friends.
That's amazing. I'm actually kind of jealous.
But I tell my students, it's amazing how drawing as universal language can open so many doors, so many doors, because it's really an empathic art. Everybody likes it, you know. Everybody likes, mainly if you do it freehand, you know, like in New York. I thought because it's when we sketch in the street, there is always a lot of reaction. People, they say, oh, that's nice. They never, of course, they will never reach you saying your drawing is bad. Of course, that's what I tell people that are afraid of going out. So the only feedback you can have is good feedback. So, and I thought in New York people would not care about me because it's like this.
Such a big city.
Such a big city with such different, weird, every kind of people. But it's, in fact, in New York, it was the city where I had more feedback, you know. And this guy, Zagar, he was looking for someone who work with freehand drawing, not digital. And now and he says it's really hard to find an artist like the storyboards with freehand drawing, using freehand drawing. And yeah, it's so empathic. And the other movie about Africa, it was a friend of a friend that saw my sketches on the first storyboard, and the funny joke, one funny thing is that they told me Leonardo DiCaprio is going to pay you. That's funny.
Okay, so I think I want to dig into a little bit more of the architecture, and as far as I know, you have a PhD in architecture. So what made you pursue that field? Why did you choose this? You said you wanted to be an architect, but why?
The PhD or be an architect? To do the PhD or to be
to be an architect. You know,
to be an architect. I was in between architect and designer. I always wanted to be an architect, and since I was a little boy.
Okay.
And when I was really afraid because my family doesn't have any background on art nor architecture, so I was really afraid. But on the first year, I was totally sure that was what I wanted to do.
That's wonderful. Simple answer. Wanted to be an architect since I was a child. Digging more into the academics, you are also a professor and lecturer. So I wanted to ask you, what do you love the most about teaching others?
I love teaching. I love teaching, and I get really excited on teaching. And I had a friend that once said that what you have and you don't give gets lost when you die. So that's what I like. I've been working so hard for the last 11 years where I've been sketching every day because of my students. That I think I always think I would have liked that my teachers would taught me something, because they were good on pressing us to work, but they didn't teach us. So and I always thought if I will be a teacher one day, I will teach my students, you know. And I really struggle to try to transmit them mainly the passion. If you are passionate about something, you know, I think it's the most important thing in a teacher. So you have to transmit that passion. So I try to transmit the passion, and I love to see how they grow up, you know, when they start and when they finish.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things when you are a teacher is just to see how your students progress. So I think that's wonderful. And I also think it's so nice that you decided to give something to your students that your teachers didn't give you. You wanted to be taught, but you were not. And you decided to teach your students to actually be a teacher. So that's wonderful. And I think your students are very lucky to have you as...
I have to ask them.
You're so kind. I think they are absolutely passionate working with such a teacher. Now, there was this one project of yours that I read about, that you had a tradition to draw a sketch every day and then upload it to social media. I cannot understand, how did you even do that? Where did you get the motivation to do so?
My students, yes, that is also a funny, weird story. One day I was really mad with them, and because they were not working, and it's like, it's not a gift. I always tell, drawing is learn how to see, and you have to work a lot. It's like, if I will start playing an instrument right now, I have to work a lot, otherwise I would not learn. I used to get mad with them if they didn't know how to sketch, and I would say, when they were starting the courses, they were on the first degree, and I would say them, how do you come to the university to study architecture and you didn't draw before that? But now I totally accept that they don't sketch, that they are like zero when they start, zero level. And but what I really ask them is that from now on, from the first day, you have to work hard, okay? And then they were not working hard, and then I told them, you should work hard, so from now on you should sketch every day. And their reaction was like, what are you, I remember their faces, all, what are you saying, are you nuts? And then I got this reaction to that reaction, saying, so from now on I will sketch every day in order I can show you it's possible. And the goal was like motivating them. And then I said, and I will put it in a blog. I will upload it in a blog so you can see it's possible.
That is possible.
And the goal was like the blog was shared with them, so they would also send me the drawings. And I thought maybe using internet I could reach them in a different and more valuable way. But it was a totally disaster. They didn't send me the
yeah, I wanted to ask, like, did it work? But
no,
it did not.
No, it was a disaster. for my students because they didn't. I was begging them, please send me sketches, and they didn't send me sketches to upload. But on the other hand, I started having a huge audience on my blog, and students from other universities would contact me and ask me questions, and so the reaction I didn't have directly on my students, I had on other students, and of course they would see it, but it was good because I would give them the example, so I would motivate them, although they didn't react. I think they did kind of react, and then the thing I started realizing when I was doing the blog is I would lose more time uploading, making the pictures, because I would scan every drawing. I would try to put a little text, so sometimes I would lose more time like doing that than doing the sketch. And then I found Instagram. It was so much easier. Also with the blog, I started realizing that a lot of people were copying my drawings and like doing prints and putting on the walls without asking for permissions. Like I saw on stores, like in my drawings without that drawing is mine. You know?
That's rude.
Yeah, and Instagram is easier to protect your drawing. So
right.
I just started doing like this kind of pictures with the drawing and not scanning the drawing. It was faster, and that was crazy when I started Instagram. So I don't know. I don't have too much followers on my blog, like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I don't know, but Instagram is crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Okay. Do you still do that? Do you still do a sketch every day?
Yeah. So when I reached the 2,000 sketches, I kind of got more relaxed.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing to prove to
not anymore.
Not anymore, not to me. And the thing, what I got mainly more relaxed on uploading the sketch. So I would do it, but if I didn't upload it, I didn't mind, like on the first 2,000 sketches. And the thing is, I got more and more demanding with my sketches. In the beginning, I would do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour sketches, and now I'm doing 4-hour sketches, 8-hour sketches.
Oh my.
So in order to compensate that, what I do sometimes is I do half of a sketch in one day, half of the sketch on another day. Okay, and I must admit, sometimes I don't do it like 4 days a year. I don't sketch. On the other hand, on some days I can do 8, 10, 20 sketches. So I do more than 365 a year.
That still sounds very unreal to me. I have no idea how, but yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Okay, the next question would be to describe a real life situation that inspired you. Do you have something in mind right now?
As I told you, all my drawings are real life situations, no? Because I copy from, but I don't know, I have some funny situations, some funny moments. Like I remember one day, and where I live in Valencia, there are a lot of red lights, and people complain on the red lights.
Oh, red lights.
So what I did, and also to try to get time to make this sketch a day, I started driving my car with the sketchbook on the, like next to me, and on every light, I would try to make a sketch, and then I did it also on my Vespa. So I was riding my Vespa, and I had the sketchbook like in front of me, but you have to be really fast. So I cannot look to the red light when it turns to green light. So I just wait that the other cars start beeping or start going, and I go with them. So, and I was doing this sketch, and I was thinking, so this light is not getting green, but okay, it's okay. So, and then one guy beeped, and I realized that everybody was stopped looking at me while I was sketching. They were all stopped, and the light was green. You know, that was funny. Another moment also with the car. You know, when you have a problem, I had a problem on my car, and I call the crane, and it's really boring when you are waiting for the crane. So what I did, I just sketched my car with the open bonnet. And then the guy came and I asked him, can you wait 5 minutes please so I can finish my sketch? And the guy was looking like this. Yeah, there are some. Another funny one is when I ride the bicycle, because I always carry a little sketchbook with me, always. And even when I go and to ride my bicycle in the mountains with my friends, I always carry this. And then they were always joking, why do you carry it? You'll never sketch. There was one day that one of my friends had a puncture on the tire, so they were all like, while they were fixing the tire, I did the sketch of them. So I used the sketchbook.
Helping with your creative spirit. That's, I think, a very unique experience that I've heard. I don't think I've ever heard anything like that from any other artists.
And you know, as I have to, it's kind of stressing every day to do a sketch.
Obviously, you put a lot of pressure on yourself.
So when I do that, I like, I've already done the
finally.
sketch for today, you know, so I don't have to think on that anymore.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna move to more like career questions now. And this is gonna be a little bit of a negative question, but I wanted to ask, what is the biggest mistake that you have made within your career to this point?
Not having started before. I always think I should have started before,
Sooner.
like when I was younger. Yeah, yeah. I regret not have started when I was 18 or when I was, for instance, like doing this diary. You know, so it's so precious when it's like when I did Erasmus in Paris. That's when I started sketching again after the university. But I only have like 10 drawings of Paris in 1 year.
So how old were you when you started?
Like 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
No, of starting doing this 30, when I started doing every day, you know. Before this, I would go on vacation and I would do 2-3 sketches, you know. And
but
now,
you know, starting at this age, you made crazy progress.
you know, I know I'm old. Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. It's just, I would have never thought that someone, you know, who started like taking art seriously at around 30 years old would get to that sort of level.
Yeah, it takes more than 30.
Wow. You know, so some people start at 10 years old, they start going to art schools.
I always sketch it, but yeah, I was...
But not seriously.
But not seriously, no. I was always the best, not the best, sometimes, I was not always the best at high school, you know, at art school. I was one of the good ones, but not the best.
Okay, so I'm going to ask about an exhibition. And do you remember your first solo exhibition?
Yes.
How did you feel? How was the experience?
It's kind of pretentious, but it's the truth. My first exhibition was in New York, in New York City. God. But just because I was teaching there, and in Valencia, nobody cares about me because it's just my city, and okay, this is the guy that sketches, and but when
this is the guy on the Vespa, yeah, whatever.
No, and when you are outside, of course, at Parsons they started posting my sketches on their Instagram, and finally they invited me to make it. When I was there, I was doing a diary, so I proposed to do myself a part of teaching. I proposed myself to do a diary and drawing the 5 boroughs in New York, not only Manhattan, because people go to New York and they say, so I saw everything. Did you go to the Bronx? Did you? No, I just was in Manhattan, so I didn't saw the other 4 boroughs. So my goal was sketching all the 5 boroughs in New York, and using a bicycle as a mean of transportation, not using the public transportation, because it was like a different way of seeing the city, more direct, like I thought in that way I would engage more
Yeah,
with
you
the
would
city.
feel more connected to the city.
And the dean saw my work and he invited me to do that, and I was really excited. So I worked so hard to mount the exhibition, to prepare everything, that I totally forgot the social part, like to invite people, to promote the exhibition, to promote the opening.
Yeah.
And then in the opening, nobody came. Like we were like
God.
7, and I was so sad. And that was the first. I thought with the Instagram it would be enough. The only promotion I did was putting like a story on Instagram. And I thought it was enough.
That was not enough, apparently.
Yeah. And then ironically, my friends also got mad with me because I didn't tell them, because I was so stressed with doing
Obviously, yeah.
the all things well that I forgot.
I mean,
So
your
it was,
first exhibition and it's New York. Obviously, anyone would be stressed about it.
It was a totally disaster.
Yeah, but I mean, after all, as I said, it was in New York. I think, were very lucky, to get such an opportunity. And
Anyway, the feedback of that exhibition was amazing. After it was so.
After someone showed up, maybe.
No, after I did a catalog of that exhibition, I sent that catalog to Clermont-Ferrand. That is the biggest travel diary meeting in the world. And then they accept me. I was really excited that they accept my work to do the exhibition there. And then after that, I got an email saying that my book was nominated to the best international travel sketchbook, and I didn't have a sketchbook. I didn't have a book. I just had a little catalog, and they thought it was a book. And the book that was a catalog was nominated. It was really a big thing being nominated to the best travel diary on the festival. And then I did the book, and I asked them, can you give me some more time to send you the book? And I did the book in 3 or 4 weeks, and it won a prize. So the outcome of that exhibition was amazing. At the end,
even though it was a bit of a disaster.
At the end, I won't forget it.
Yeah. Okay, so first exhibition in New York, we're starting off strong, but I wanted to know what other things or jobs have you done before you became an artist, but you don't want to call yourself that. So, but I am calling you an artist. You are an artist in my eyes. So,
I was a regular architect. I started working like in a big office when I was 24, and then I went back to Paris to work in a big agency. Then I came back to Portugal to work on another agency, and then I opened my own office when the crisis started in Portugal, and then I went to Spain and I started working as a teacher. Okay,
so you were basically connected to art through and through, architect, teacher.
The thing was when I started being a drawing teacher, that what changed everything. But a lot of people say, so if I'm a drawing teacher, I don't have to draw, because a lot of my colleagues don't draw. But I thought I had this responsibility of this obligation of drawing, I thought the best way of understanding my students is to put myself on their hands and sketch everything I ask them. That was the thing that changed everything, and that's why I'm here. If I would not be a drawing teacher, I think I would not be here.
Okay, so I think you already partly answered this question, but what are you doing to ensure that you grow as an artist and better your skills?
I just sketch every day.
Just sketch, that's it.
Yeah, I don't have this goal of being better, or no. It's just sketch, and things come. When you do things with passion and work hard, things will come. I'm sure. But of course, if someone would tell me that I would be working in Kenya for for Leonardo DiCaprio,
You would not have believed it.
No. No.
Yeah, but you have come very far. Do you have maybe some advice for younger artists who would like to, be as successful as you? What would you say to them?
The first thing is don't work to be successful. Just
work for your passion, right?
Yeah, work hard and things will come. If you work with passion, things will come for sure. Of course, if someone helps you, if you are lucky, it's also. I was lucky to find this ad. I don't know if I would not, and that had brought me to this director and then to the other. No, it's also lucky, but I think if you work hard and have passion and do things, and don't think, like a lot of people, when I give some lectures or conferences, one of the main questions is how can we be famous on Instagram or something like that? How can we have so many followers on Instagram? You cannot think on that when you are starting. You should not think, I want to be famous. You just work hard and things will come. And I think it's also important to be humble. No, that's why I don't.
You don't like to be pretentious. Yeah.
It's not fake humble. It's really. I really think that.
Okay. So thank you for the interview. Do you maybe want to say something?
So fast.
I mean, I think we were talking for quite a long time. What do you have anything else, to say, to share with our viewers?
I already talked so much. No, I just want again to thank you for inviting me. I really like the commitment of this brand. That's why I have to admit that it's hard to be here. It was really hard to find this schedule to be here, but I really want to help this company because I love the commitment that you have. I love the products, and I'm not saying that to make publicity, nothing at all. And and thank you for inviting me and to see this beautiful and vibrant city and that I'm liking so much.
Well, thank you for an amazing interview, and as I mentioned before, you will find all of his social media and ours right here on the screen, and thank you for watching, and we would also really like some feedback or anything else that you would like to tell us. So thank you, and this was Hugo.
Thank you. Bye bye.